Etet Bu, Epsilon Omegam, Namaste, Haru Nefer. This is Qesankh with another video for you. In this video, I'm going to be talking secrets of Kamitic cosmology. But before I want you to like button on this video. If this is your first time to welcome, hit the subscribe button. Notifications are live and when I upload videos. Also, don't forget YouTube ban me. So just remember to hit that subscribe button if you're already a subscriber. If you're learning more about my spiritual teachings, click on the links below and you'll be able to download a free ebook. However, to go deeper down the rabbit hole, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. Hey, it's up to you. You'll get exclusive access to instructional videos on the esoteric, videos that'll teach you how to meditate, videos that'll teach you how to contact the ancestors, how to project, self-hypnosis. And if you're a Nosera level supporter, you'll get all your oracle readings for free. So become a Patreon supporter today. Last but not least, share this video with family and friends so we can get the revolution started. Haru Nefer. Hold on one second. I want to switch to 5G because I'm seeing that we're having some interference. So give me 1 second. We're back and we're at 5G. Hopefully the transmission will come a little clearer, I hope. If not, I'm sorry. I'll have to redo this broadcast. Grand Rising, may Buddha bless you. I want to talk to you today about something very, very important. And that is how you think. Ashe. You see, the ancient Kemetic people were whole brain thinkers. It means they used both the left and right hemispheres of the brain, which is why they were able to create such wondrous things as the pyramids and to build a society that lasted for, or a civilization that lasted for over 10,000 years. Whereas we here in this country have only lasted almost 500 years and we're falling apart. How could that be? That's because the foundation of everything they built this civilization upon was what? Ma'at. It was said that when Ra came into being, the first thing he did is he laid a foundation down, which was his daughter, Ma'at. You see, a civilization that's not predicated upon whole brain thinking is a civilization that's bound to fail. Because when you're polarized in left brain thinking, Sebek, then everything you do will be from a skewed perspective on life. And a lot of you are so mentally damaged because you have acclimated to a system and done well in a system that is left brain. You don't know what right is. You don't know what healthy is. You don't know what societies or nations should look like. They damn sure shouldn't look like this. Our entire education system is predicated upon left brain thinking. That means we look at subjects as different compartmentalized things with no relationship to the other. In ancient Egypt, Kemet, when you went to school, you didn't have separate disciplines. Everything was woven into one. And you were shown the relationships between all things, which is why they excelled. The civilization excelled so much to the fact that archaeologists and paleontologists can't figure out how this civilization not only came about, because the mythical teachings say the Hermes Trismegistus is the first one to come into what is Northeast Africa, Egypt, and start the civilization of Kemet. But you see, they know that. They know that the Africans came from Nubia, but they try to claim that the Africans or the ancient Egyptian people came from Europe because they're liars and scammers. See, there's a big lie that they're trying to keep from the entire world, and not just people of color. Hetepu, Professor X. That they're trying to keep from the entire world and not just from people of color. Because they have gone into Kemet, Egypt, and dissected it and take out of it the mystical teachings and put into the secret society, put into the catacombs and the basements at the Vatican. And they are now practicing these occult secrets. And they want to, they see that the ancient Egyptians were so far advanced. And they know that they were black, but they can't take that. So they spread this lie. And if you go to Egypt and you see the Metu and you are an accredited academic and you come out and you say the truth that Egypt was a black civilization, they will ostracize you. They will, in some instances, kill you. You'll disappear. This is how dangerous this information is to them. Because they know the power of whole brain thinking. They know that when they were living in the caves and the coldness and ice of the hills of Europe, that they developed left brain thinking. They were people of color that went in to Europe, lost their melanin and had a vitamin D deficiency and became Europeans. And when you are deficient in vitamin D and you're forced to live in a cold and hostile environment, you have to rely more on the left brain than you do the right brain. When you're in a very warm climate, tropical, sub-Saharan climate, you rely more on the right brain. This is science we're kicking right now. This is science. And by definition, if you're relying more on the right brain is what? Has the attribute of integration, synthesis. So the right brain seeks synthesis or union with the left brain. But the left brain does not seek union with the right brain. So these people who became left-brained built their civilizations based on left brain thinking. So everything is compartmentalized, separated, names. A great indication of them being left-brained is their insatiable need to label and define things. Look at what they're saying now. How many genders there are? There are 133 genders. This is their left brain go crazy. Labeling, defining, labeling, separating things. The left brain is the cause of racism. Hitler was a left brain guy to the max. He didn't see associations. He didn't have congregative thinking where he looked to bring things together. He was always looking to separate, label, and define. And, with that comes the hierarchy. European civilization is based on a hierarchy. So they're looking to see who is higher or better and who is underneath. So they have to come up with a racial system, but I digress. They're thinking on the word so skewed, and you go along with it, and you try to become more left brain than they are. And then when we have those who come out and they go to Harvard or Yale at a very young age, and we call these black children prodigies. No, they're not. Just because they have acclimated to a left brain system does not make them brilliant. What makes you brilliant is what Nikola Tesla did. Use his whole brain, left and right brain. And that's not easy to do. And now they're forcing us into this left brain paradigm, which is destroying the world. I'm sorry, I digress. Our ancestors left a map that if we practice this map, using this map, which we call the Port Nethalu, the company of the gods, we would exercise our right brain. See, the system of ecology was invented by Ma'at, practiced by the ancient Kamau people in Akebu land, the real name of Africa. You think this white man's ice is colder. You uphold civilization in such high regard, and it's broken. It's schizophrenic. Sebek, in his rightful place, can do great things. Sebek should not be seated on the throne. That is for Oser. And right now, Sebek is on the throne. Not just Sebek, but Set. Set Saturnian. Saturnian energy, 3D energy, third density based on emotions and materialism. We have taken the Saturnian energy, Saturn, and perverted it. Saturn is supposed to ground you, make you more realistic in your thinking. So this ancient diagram, the Port Nethalu, was left by ancestors to show the cosmological framework of the principles governing the universe. And instead of us using it in our education system, instead of us using it in our spiritual traditions, you know what we have done? We've ignored it. We have ignored it. But no longer, because we are going to bring back these teachings that are not just around. You have to understand, again, integrated brain thinking. It's not just about spirituality or a religion, which means to tie back to. It is about a way of life. Do you understand me? This is the Kemetic Port Nethalu system. And if you really understand this, it will condition your mind to start thinking cosmologically, start thinking both left and right hemisphere of the brain. If you look at the left side with the deities, those correspond to left brain thinking. If you look at the right side, those correspond to the right brain thinking. And the brilliant thing that our ancestors did from ancient Kemet was to show the interrelationship and interdependence between all of these things, because no man is an island. Each one of these components has a complementary element, not a contradictory element to them. You cannot practice one without the other. The one defines the other. One gives existence to the other. We learned that quickly, which is why we could not have created a religion called Christian that has a God that's a male. Our religion would have had a male and a female, because we understand the law of complements or complementary principles. We would never have created a religion with just a male deity. You must understand that our thinking was correct. Their universities, which I refuse to go for higher learning, are corrupt. These women thinking they're going to get their PhDs, they're so educated. No, you're not. You're merely programmed. The higher you go, the more degrees you get, the more it shows you're programmed. Each degree is a testament as to how programmed you are. I'm not kidding. Now, I'm going to take you through this quickly because I go over this in our classes, just so you can get an idea of how this works. We start at the bottom where you have Geb, the 10th sphere. Geb is the earth. Geb is resources. Geb is your health. Geb is directly complemented by the top hemisphere 0 at the top, which is Amen. Amen is the hidden. Amen is no thing. Amen is the true state of God, that which is hidden. Where Geb is the physical realm, Amen is the metaphysical realm. One complements the other. Where Geb is emotionalism, Amen is at peace, at rest. Life challenges your peace. Now, God cannot manifest in the world because God is no thingness. But God can place his consciousness into us, our vehicle. And in so doing, God manifests in the world as Oser, the first sphere. If we go down to the bottom, we'll see we have Oset, Sebek, and Hedaru. Let's go over this. Oset is trance. She's also devotion. She is also indiscriminate imitation. This is when you're starting out in life, you imitate what you see. That's the first initiation stage. Then you go on to Sebek. Sebek is your left brain. Sebek is information. Sebek is beliefs. Sebek is facts. This is the education system predicated upon Sebek, giving you information, giving you facts which form the basis of your beliefs. Directly across from Sebek is Hedaru, which is joy, emotions. More importantly, she is congregative thinking based on externals. She likes pretty things, but she's able to assemble these things so they work together harmoniously. Now let's go back and look at what I was saying with 9 and 1. We look at Oset and Oser, a brother and sister, a husband and wife. They work together in tandem. You see, in the Osirian drama, the story of Osar and Oset, Oset gave birth to Haru, which is number 6. Set was killed by his evil, Oser was killed by his evil brother Set. He was dismembered and the pieces of his body were scattered throughout the world, the 14 pieces. Set went, collected all of those 14 pieces, which symbolizes her devotion to her husband, assembled them back, but she could not find the phallus. So she had the Immaculate Conception, giving birth to Haru. Oset is trance. So when we look at the bottom, the bottom triad, we have Oset, Sebek, and Hedaru. When your beliefs, well, let's put it this way. If Oset is trance, when you go into a state of trance and you visualize Hedaru, and you have your affirmations, which is Sebek, and your beliefs, you'll give birth to your will, Haru. That's the meaning there. That's why we see her nurturing or breastfeeding Haru. When you go into the state of trance, Oset, You visualize your objective, Heteru. You feed yourself beliefs, affirmations, Sebek. You'll give birth to 6, Haru, your will. Now, your will could be good or bad, depending upon how you program yourself in alternate state of consciousness, which we call trance. You understand? But let's take this further. We understand that Sebek is information. He's beliefs. He's facts. He labels things. He defines things. Now, put in the right place, Sebek is a good guy. But our world is based primarily upon Set. And it's just, I'm sorry, and Sebek. And that Sebek left brain thinking is destroying the world. Sebek is complemented by 2 aspects here. Number 1, Tahuti. Thoth, Hermes, Trismegistus. Tahuti is intuition, whereas Sebek is facts and beliefs and needs information. Tahuti gets wisdom and knowledge from deep introspection and tuning into the Akashic records. Tahuti is the oracles. Tahuti is the mouthpiece of God. Tahuti knows. Sebek believes. Sebek does not know. Sebek is facts. Tahuti is truth. Sebek is also complemented by Ma'at. Ma'at is truth, justice, righteousness, balance. Ma'at is whole brain thinking. Ma'at is holistic thinking. Ma'at is holistic thinking. Sebek is segregative thinking. Ma'at is synthesis thinking, bringing 2 things together to form a new whole. So Ma'at seeks to bring things together, to synthesize them. Sebek looks to separate them. Okay, you black, you're separate from me because I'm white. You Chinese, you separate from me. Ma'at says we're all consciousness, therefore we're all one, regardless of the vehicle, the physical body. So we know Sebek is complemented by Ma'at and Tahuti. Well, let's look at Heteru. Heteru is complemented by Sekert, where Heteru seeks joy, pleasure, harmony, congregative in thought process. Sekert is introspection. Sekert governs the 72 words of power that created all things in our reality. Whereas Heteru likes to be social, Sekert wants to be by herself. Sekert is a witch. She studies the mystic arts. Heteru doesn't care about the mystic arts. She cares about film, acting, beauty contests. Sekert is about planning, about cycles. Those 2 complement each other. Now let's look at Haruka-Huti. Haruka-Huti dated Heteru. But then that relationship didn't work out, so she ended up marrying Heteru, ended up marrying Haru. Now, I won't get into things like Ptah or Oset's sister, Nebhet. We're not going to go too far into all of that. We'll save that for another session. So Ma'at lays down a law, and Haruka-Huti comes down and enforces the law. What does the law mean without an enforcer of the law? Make sense? Ma'at means nothing without the ability to enforce the law. Sebek is the ability to cut your head off, meaning separate yourself from your emotions, because if you're doing a dangerous job, you cannot be emotional. Let's dive closer in. Let's see what we got here. All right. Good. Okay. Haruka Huti is divine justice, executor of the law, analytical thinking. So we have synthesis thinking, which is Ma'at, and then we have analytical thinking. Because when you're in battle, you've got to make, as a soldier, you got to make a quick judgment. If there's a guy coming towards you, it's a shadowy figure, you don't know if he's friend or foe. This is where your quick analytical thinking comes in. That's Haruka Huti. Does that make sense? The warrior, Haruka Huti is the warrior. So I'm giving you an example of how we thought in ancient Kemet, holistically. You see, you'll note how Aset is complemented by Oser. One cannot be without the other. You'll see how Geb is complemented by Amen. You see how Sebek is complemented by Ma'at. Left brain thinking, Ma'at, whole brain thinking. You see how Sebek is complemented by Tehuti. Facts, logic. Tehuti is intuition, the absence of thoughts. You see how Sekert is complemented by Heteru. Heteru is beauty, harmony, joy, congregative thinking. Sekert is introspection. Let's dive deeper in that. Let me get rid of this thing. How that was over there. I don't know why it's there. Okay, let's go closer. We look at, so Sekert is the Shechem level, which is the basically meaning power, the seat of understanding. She deals with cycles. Let's go back to the great Trinity here. Sebek, Heteru, and Aset, which tells you how you can program yourself. If you're overeating, if you can't get to the gym, can't get up for work in time, you go into trance or meditation, which is Aset. You visualize your objective, which is Heteru, and then you follow that with affirmations. Sebek also applies to NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And that will give birth to your will, Haru. And you'll no longer have to push yourself to get to the gym. You'll no longer have to push yourself to wake up. You'll be on autopilot. You will have successfully programmed yourself. Otherwise, if you don't program yourself, you'll be doing indiscriminate imitation, which is an attribute of Aset, just imitating. And that's a lot of what we see in the world today. You ask people something and they just regurgitate what they've heard on the nightly news. Are Democrats good? No, they've done this and that and that and this. You see, we're not taught to think in this society. We're taught to regurgitate information. The universities don't teach you how to think. They teach you how to memorize with memory, which is also an attribute of a set, memory, to commit to memory what they teach you and you just spit it right back out to them. We don't have real institutions of higher learning. If they were, they would be on the level of Nikola Tesla. We have a cookie cutter system based on rote memorization. Which is why we can't figure out how the pyramids were built. Which is why we lied and said we landed on the moon when we knew we didn't have the technology to land on the moon. Because we have to promote the European greatness. When you start using this, you will start to think differently and look at the world differently. When they ask you, what's the solution to racism? Don't say anything stupid like, we have to love one another. We have to have tolerance. We have to have diversity. No, we have to stop thinking left brain. We have to get rid of the 1%, the ruling elite that's forcing us to think left brain. That's the problem with the world, this left brain thinking. We have to think more whole brain, more ma'at. And you can sum that out by saying, create a foundation for ma'at. That's all you have to say. How do you think we'll ever achieve world peace? By instituting ma'at. By becoming like Ra and putting the foundation in place upon the world, which is Ra'ah. His daughter, Ma'at. You see, you have this silly black nationalist movement, and they're a bunch of buffoons who do exactly the same thing that the European system is doing to them. You see, they talk about how the education system is racially biased. It is not racially biased. It is left brain. So they want to come along and teach you about Sojourner Truth, Nat Turner, Benjamin Bannegan, Frederick Douglass. And that's nice but that's just applying things in a very heteru fashion, which is window dressing. It's just dressing it up. Well, Qesankh, what is the solution? The solution is we can't use the same thing that created the problem to solve the problem. You're not going to suddenly create a better education system because your kids are learning about Black historians and Black figures. You've got to change the way the system teaches, a radical transformation, which is getting the system to stop teaching everything from a left brain perspective. Stop lecturing. I knew at a very young age in school that when I was in school being taught that something was very wrong. They would lecture me for an hour and a half, and it was boring. And I said, "This is not how you learn." But they're civic, they're verbal communication, they're verbal discourse. They can't shut up. They keep talking. This is why you have pimp pastor ministers mimicking that. Get on the pulpit and talk you death for 2 hours. That's a civic attribute. Test taking, verbal communication, verbal discourse, debate. Somebody challenged me to a debate. I said, that's a civic thing. I ain't messing with that. I said, that's a left brain Western concept. You can't debate and arrive at the truth. The Greeks tried that. It didn't work. We've got to stop with this left brain teaching of the teacher standing up at the head of the class and lecturing. In ancient Kemet, you learn through osmosis. Ma'at says to know truth, you have to live life. So we got to create a better system that's predicated upon whole brain thinking. And when you do that, you will accelerate people to the point of where you'll have Einsteins, you'll have Nikola Teslas. But the system doesn't want you to achieve. It doesn't want to produce geniuses. It doesn't. That's why they keep the left brain system in place. They know the system doesn't work. They know the education system doesn't work. They know the government system doesn't work. But the alternative for them is to teach you from a right brain perspective, and then that would create gods. Why would they want to do that? Why would they want to do that? I want to take a moment to take a commercial break, and I'd like for you guys to donate to the channel. Please donate. And also, don't forget to hit the like button. I'll be right back.
Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose. The man who rules the world runs into the irresistible force of a man with nothing to lose in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get the regular and variant editions of John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose on Amazon.com today.
Okay, we're back, and please support John. Sean's books. They're excellent. I just got in the mail today some books I ordered, so please support him. So, listen, study the tree of life. Understand that your culture is much more than going to church on a Sunday or reading some books by Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark. Your religion is about living it, experiencing it, and changing the whole dynamics of how you think. Anything else is not going to work. And we've been caught up in doing things that haven't worked for a long, long time. I want to thank you for tuning in. This is Qesankh Ma'at, son of Ma'at and Tahuti. Ma'at is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Till the next video, Amen Ra.